Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
Hello, Prince George. Hello, Winnipeg and Kamloops and television watchers on Vancouver Island on Rogers TV. Thank you for watching us on your cable access. Thank you for listening to us on your college and university radio stations. That's where we belong. That's where we want to be. We love doing this, and we're doing it for you. So if you are listening, thank you for tuning in. I'm Joey Only, your Caribou weather dude up here in Wells, British Columbia, with my panel of comedeorologists. Comedy plus meteorology equals comedeorology. It's the show about how much the weather sucks. And it's really sucked this week, man. Holy cow. We'll complain all about it. Just wait. We will indeed. So you've been listening to us on CFR 88.7 FM, CKUW 95.9 in Winnipeg, and CFBX 92.5 Kamloops. This is the show. I got on the panel tonight. We haven't seen her in a while, but our associate producer, Imogen Bailey's back. Good to see her. We got Brandon Hauk, my beloved co-host. He's here once again, the radio man from Brooks, Alberta. We got from Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers, one of the moderators of our Facebook group that we run, Karen Richards up there, Prince George, who's been getting rained on this week, and so is Hilding Donaldson out there in Grassy Plains. He's not complaining about all the rain because he's about to get a hay crop off this year. I do think Michael McGregor's showing up from Winnipeg as well. So we got a full docket of everybody here. But first, we're going to talk about the world weather with you, Frankie.
Frankie, the weatherman. Frankie, the weatherman. Who? Frankie. Who? Frankie.
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie.
Frankie McDonald. How you doing so far, buddy? Who's got the worst weather in the
a lot
world?
of severe weather and thunderstorms going on in Manitoba with lots of wind and rain in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, in North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas with severe thunderstorms all across central states as well. Then they got more severe weather in Dallas on Friday coming up. It's going to head towards Louisiana and places like this. Then they got rain hitting for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Sunday night. Lots of rain hitting for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Sunday night and the Monday. And all across eastern United States in America, they got cold air next, heading towards eastern United States in America. Then they got some more rain in Vancouver, British Columbia next week, and those places. California is drier than normal. Right now, it's really hot in Arizona. That's where Gary and Dino is at.
I like those guys, Gary and Dino.
Is like not only is Gary and Dino's show tougher than us, but they're also funnier and more popular.
It's really hot there where Gary and Dino's at in Scottsdale, Arizona. Then Gary and Dino got a Springbrook event coming up on June 22nd. Lots of rain in the forecast all across central states and Vancouver, British Columbia, and all those places as well. This week and the next week as well. And weather all across South America. Like Venezuela and those places. Lots of rain going on in Caracas, lots of rain and thunderstorms in Venezuela, Colombia, parts of northern Ecuador. It's drier than normal. Peru right now. And far northern than Brazil. They're in the rainy season now. It says Guatemala, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Haiti, and all those places. And Island St. Martin. They're in the rainy season now. Lots of rain, thunderstorms going on in all across. They're in the rainy season now in Guatemala, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Nigeria, Honduras, and Panama, those places. In Brazil's Rio de Janeiro, Brazil's in the dry season now. It's really, really dry in Bolivia too, and Peru. And northern Chile is really dry now. Then it got lots of rain in southern Chile and snow up in the mountains in southern Chile as of right now. Weather all across Europe and lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in northern Italy and Switzerland, those places, and snow up in the mountains. Then they got some thunderstorms and rain in France, and it's really cooler. And weather is cooler in England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland. As of right now, it's really hot in Morocco right now, in Libya and Algeria and all those places. It's really hot in Gibraltar, Spain, Portugal, those places right now. It's really hot in Bosnia, rain and showers and thunderstorms and forecasts in Croatia, Bosnia, and all those places. In Albania, parts of Greece, it's drier than normal. It's drier than normal with a chance of showers in Turkey next week. It's really, really warm up. It's getting warmer up in Norway, but cooler up, and then it got cold weather aiming towards Norway next week, and it got rain coming behind that, followed by rain in Norway, Finland, Sweden, and lots of thunderstorms rain in Belarus and Moscow, Russia, those places right now. And weather all across Japan. There's a lot of storms coming off the coast of Japan right now, like Tokyo, Japan, Kyoto, Japan, Osaka, Japan, and lots of thunderstorms rain going on in China and Hong Kong and Taiwan right now. Mongolia is getting hotter right now. Siberia is going to get really hot weather in June and July and August. Like Yakutsk and Norilsk and Magadan and Oymyakon, Russia is going to get extremely hot weather in the summertime. And lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in Vietnam and Laos and Cambodia and Philippines and Singapore and Malaysia right now. A lot of rain and thunderstorms going on in Bangladesh and Myanmar and all those places as well. It's extremely hot in India. Temperatures above 50 degrees Celsius there.
I saw that. 52, all-time record.
It was mighty hot there. And lots of thunderstorms and rain going on in southern India during the monsoon season. Then the monsoon season is going to work its way to Delhi, India by July. And lots of rain and thunder. It's really, really hot in Dubai right now. Dubai had man-made rain earlier.
Oh, they threw some silver nitrate up in the air, did they?
The rain is man-made in Dubai.
Yeah, well, the silver nitrate thing only works if it's a cold cloud, right? If it's a warm cloud, you need so that I'm still skeptical on how much man-made rain. What about Antarctica, Frankie?
And I never did Africa forecaster yet this week. It's
Okay.
really, really hot in Egypt and Saudi Arabia and all those places, and up around Nigeria and those places right now. Lots of rain and thunderstorms going on again in Nigeria and all those places right now. And there's a lot of rain in Africa, west coast of Africa right now in thunderstorms. It's going to bring a whole lot of sand coming off from northwestern Africa at this time of the year. In July, it's going to bring so much sand. Egypt will be in the stormy time of the year. And then it got some cold weather in for South Africa. And a lot of rain in the forecast in South Africa, Cape Town, South Africa. And Johannesburg, South Africa. They're getting lots of rain in the forecast. And warm and Mozambique is drier than normal. And Botswana is drier than normal. And Namibia and Angola, including Tanzania and Madagascar, is entering the dry season. Those showers in the forecast zones around La Reunion and Mauritius Islands, and weather all across Australia and New Zealand. As for Perth, Australia, lots of showers in the forecast of Perth, Australia. There's a lot of rain and cold temperatures in Sydney, Australia. Right now, we got cold temperatures heading towards north and southeast western Australia late next week as well. Weather for New Zealand, lots of rain in eastern Australia. And it's going to bring hot weather, cold weather in New Zealand with lots of rain and forecasting. South Island, New Zealand got dry and wet fighting each other in New Zealand. As for Antarctica, it's 24-hour darkness right now. And where Mike Post is at, it's 24-hour darkness where Mike Post is at. And Marty B. Jordan, those two guys in Antarctica, they're in a dark 24-hour darkness right now. Up in the Arctic or up in Cookatook, Nunavut. Olivier, say hi to you. It's 24-hour daylight in Cookatook right now.
Hey, hi, Olivier. I missed that guy. Hope he comes back on the show sooner than later. Frankie, before we open the panel to ask you questions, I couldn't help but notice you have a Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan shirt. I've been to Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan. How did you come across a Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan shirt?
Somebody gave that to me.
Yeah, it's north. It's not like if you go to Highway 16, it's still like the next. It's closer to Cold Lake,
Yes.
further north. Yeah, it's Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan. I like it. Okay, panelists. Anyone got questions for Frankie McDonald this week?
And guess what? Monica's back on Facebook.
Yes. Tell Monica we'd love to see her come back on the show sometime.
Yeah.
Who on the panel has a question for Francis McDonald Jr.? Mike McGregor out in Winnipeg, you got a question for Frankie?
Yeah, any crazy weather coming out your way? Any hurricanes yet?
No hurricanes yet, and no typhoons in Japan.
No hurricanes, no typhoons. Any other questions for Frankie?
I got one for Frankie.
Karen Richards.
What's it going to be like up here in northern BC, Prince George and above?
And it means it's going to be so much sandstorms in June and July and early August in Egypt and Libya and all those places. Drive all the sand all across Africa.
What about Prince George coming up, Frankie? What do you got for
Bring a lot
them?
of rain next week in Vancouver.
Yeah, all BC is going to be getting pretty wet. I think Chris Calais is going to be coming on in a little while, and he's going to be talking about the atmospheric river. So we do have an atmospheric river. Something you usually expect to hear in November kind of thing or February, but no, we got a mild atmospheric river event coming, it sounds like, to the West Coast. If there's no other questions for Frankie.
And did you hear about this? It's going to bring a whole lot of rain in India in July and August.
I didn't hear about that.
There will be their monsoon season.
Monsoon season coming to India. This just in. Okay,
India had a dangerous heat wave.
They did. 52 degrees. Would you say they had the worst weather in the world, Frankie? Who has the worst weather in the world, Frankie?
Somewhere in Japan, lots of rain coming off the coast of Japan. Oh my God, in Japan.
Even worse than 52 degrees? I can't think of anything worse than 52 degrees, personally.
Lots of severe weather and lots of thunderstorms and hail going on in China. Even Russia's getting hail near Korea backing off his hometown.
We'll be back with Frankie McDonald in just a little while because we got fresh Frankie McDonald videos from this week to watch and review. That's Frankie McDonald's segment, Brandon Hauk Report.
The Brandon Hauk Report.
Oh, hi. This is the Brandon Hauk Report.
Hey, Brandon Hauk, out there in Brooks, Alberta. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, doing wonderful. Get ready for a very busy start to June, and it is going to get very busy for myself here in the month of June. So it's going to be fun. Event after event after event is what we're going to... Oh, by the way, the Brooks Bandits are going to be playing in the Rocky Mountain Cup this weekend, taking on the Surrey Eagles. And I have a feeling we might win this. Maybe. We'll see. Surrey's pretty good. Yeah, that's where Mark Ingles is going. Yes.
Alberta team is going to win the BC championship. That was a great idea, letting Brooks into the BC Hockey League.
And I love how they call it the Rocky Mountain Challenge, and they're hosting it in Brooks this weekend. It's pretty. I thought that was kind of funny. We don't have any mountains, you know.
Not even like a little, like, you know, by Lake
we got
Google.
a couple hills around, you know. Just
You know,
we got the rolling hills, but we don't. Have
don't you have
mountains.
three hills somewhere?
We got a couple hills where you could toboggan down, and then that's about it. Yeah.
So you've been in thunderstorm heaven this week, haven't you?
You've got a gravel parking lot. That's all.
Yeah,
You've got a gravel parking lot.
Of course, yes. Big old
Yep.
gravel pit. By the way, I'd say the landfill is probably the biggest hill around here.
In the group chat, Andrew's been asking Frankie to be a drunk gorilla eating raspberry pies. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, Frankie. So, Brad, you've been in thunderstorm heaven this week. Give us a rundown.
And before I get to that, Chris Calais there in the lounge group there said Joey should have named this episode "The Drizzle Before the Sizzle Full Shizzle."
That is pretty good. The drizzle before the sizzle for Shizzle.
Yes, I thought that was really good.
Well, we might just make the official name of that.
I think we should. Yes, that's a brilliant idea. Now, yes, as you mentioned, Brandon Hauk, thunderstorm heaven for the last week. This past week, we've had a lot of storms. Which one should I start off with? One on Saturday? Yeah, I should. So last Saturday, I believe, last Saturday, I was basically surrounded by two thunderstorms. One over here, it was rumbling. It did not want to stop rumbling, and that was awesome. And then I got another one to my north, and that was those two storms putting off the lightning. We had the thunder as well, and pretty good burst of rain here and there. And then, then the other day we had our first severe thunderstorm of the season. That's right, first severe one. And areas to the south of us had wind gusts of 100 kilometers an hour with that storm that rolled its way through the prairie. And this storm was lacking some moisture, but still packed a bit of a punch, impressive lightning, a little bit of a meso cyclonic there. So it was awesome. It was awesome storm. And it was moving at 50 kilometers an hour. So as fast as it rolled in, it moved out very quickly as well, so it didn't drop a lot of rain. I think we got like maybe a millimeter of rain with that storm alone the other day. And then today,
It was moving faster than the rain could fall.
moving faster than the rain could fall. That's right.
We can't move the Rip Fest to July 32nd because there's no such thing as July 32nd. That means the Rip Fest is on July 12th, 13th, 14th of this year.
Yeah, that's right. We got wrong information a few weeks ago. We heard that Ribfest was on July 36th in Sydney, Nova Scotia.
It's on July 12th, 13th to 14th.
You know what? I'd go for 36 days in July. July is one of my favorite months, so
I would too. And
I would go too,
for
but
36 days of eating ribs too, man.
I would too, but with the heat in Manitoba, it's unbearable hot. So as long as there's like places to go, like festivals, Red River X, those things.
Oh yeah. Well, what I'm doing in the next couple of weeks, actually, before I talk about today's thunderstorm, so next couple of weeks, I got pancake breakfast. Not only that, but we're hosting our first block party of the year on the 13th of June. And then on the 14th and the 15th, I'm going to be judging Smoker Wars. So this is going to be all the ribs. And there's going to be at least 30 to 40 teams of ribs to judge. That
I think they picked the wrong guy, man. No offense, but
they picked the wrong
But
guy.
I've seen you in an eating competition now.
Oh, yes. That
fail
one.
miserably.
That's right. And that
how are
actually
you
ended
gonna-
up on the Jumbotron at the Brooks Bandits game, too. So that's even more embarrassing.
How are you going to eat 36 entries worth of ribs when you couldn't get through 3 hamburgers?
Luckily, this time it's not a race, so I'm able to take my time on these 36 things of ribs, so I'm not eating them in 3 minutes. Try to eat as many in 3 minutes.
Wait, so you're eating 36 ribs in an hour? Or 2
a
hours?
couple hours, at least. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's going to take a few hours.
It reminds me of that scene from Great Outdoors where that guy ate an entire pound of steak.
It was more than a pound. It was more than a pound. Okay, so that's what you were saying, Brandon. We move along.
yeah,
We got
then-
lots of people to get through.
So yeah, then we've got our thunderstorm today that developed quite rapidly, actually. And well, we had a couple showers. It's kind of cool, kind of gray, a little cold. And then the sun poked out, and then all of a sudden, these convective cells started to gather together. And then next thing you know, boom! Storm rolled in. I was actually at another facility, and the rain just came down in buckets. We had some pea-sized hail. I was actually almost caught outside in that. And then the lightning was about 1 kilometer away, and it just shook and rattled the building. And that was awesome. That was awesome. And now we've got a little bit of that northern BC, northern Alberta wildfire smoke that's rolled in afterwards. But other than that, that's about it there. Now, I do have a couple of awesome stories to share with you again today, because there's always some awesome stories for the week. And I'm going to start off with crows can actually count out loud. So that's pretty impressive. And then Home Alone house is for sale again. And a man in Japan finds 8-leaf clover. And then
Near Fukushima or where?
somewhere in northern Japan there. And then pancake syrup made a typo. That's right, a syrup. A syrup bottle. So instead of saying, it was supposed to say keep away from heat, it said keep away from tractors. So that was quite a typo on a maple syrup bottle, keeping it away from tractors. And then finally, man who's turning 100 years old and a woman who turned 102 in Pennsylvania got married at a retirement home, likely officiated by the Grim Reaper. And that's
They're like,
what I got.
we waited this long. We might as well ruin our lives now.
Brandon Hauk Report.
Oh, hi. This is the Brandon Hauk Report.
And that's the Brandon Hauk Report.
That's the Brandon Hauk Report.
My grandma just turned 106 the other day, so
So Frankie, are you putting a cow in a hot air balloon, Frankie? Is that what you're doing?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
There's no eclipse in 2025. The next solar eclipse will be August 2044 in Calgary.
That's right. Okay, so we got Chris Calais just showing up here. We haven't seen Imogen around for a little while. We haven't talked to Karen in quite a long time either. But I know Chris is tight for time, and I know because he's got family over. So we got down there in the United States, meteorologist Chris Calais. And of course, because you're a meteorologist, we have to ask you about Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, 34 counts, all guilty. Pretty wild. We were watching it in the office. Told my boss to turn it on, and I think there's quite a bit of applause in the office. So good.
I can imagine meteorologists everywhere are watching that while tornadoes are touching down on the radars behind them. And
yeah, so it's a good day down here, but unfortunately, the way the U.S. is, he will probably get reelected. So we'll see how it goes. So.
What a crazy story. What a crazy country you have, man, where a guy can be the most powerful person in the country.
Brazil. And President Trump is not the only one, but President of Brazil is another one of them.
Yeah, Bolsonaro, he sucks. Yeah, totally. So, it's just crazy. You know, he's sleeping around with porn stars and pretending he's selling Bibles. That's awesome. But it's good to see you, man. And you are proof that your existence is proof that there's great things in America. Talk to us about West Coast weather, Chris.
All right. Yeah. So as we've discussed, we have a pretty good atmospheric river. I mean, like a level 1, level 2, but still for June, it's quite anomalous. It's going to actually impact as far south as Northern California towards late Saturday into Sunday. And things are going to shift north as that ridge kind of starts to build over the western U.S. It's going to shift that atmospheric river closer to Vancouver Island into perhaps as north as like the central BC coast, Bella Coola area. I don't think there'll be crazy precip totals. We're looking at maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of around 50 millimeters in Portland. Potentially, I could see spots on Vancouver Island getting up closer to like Tofino, getting up closer to maybe 100 to 150 millimeters. We dry out pretty quick after that, after we get out of the 1 to 5 day period. So as we roll into like the middle of next week, we'll be in a pretty good drying trend. Heat builds into the U.S. portion of the Northwest initially, then potentially into BC as we get about 10 days from now. So like towards June 9th or so.
What scares me about this was 10 days ago, we were looking at this day right now, thinking the same thing.
True, but we have a lot of there's a decent amount of model agreement. So, I mean, definitely at my work, like we're hedging towards some heat in the Northwest, and we don't do a whole lot with BC, but in Alberta at least, over the next 15 days or so. So, market's kind of moving that direction. We'll see if it comes to fruition, but it looks like a pretty good heat signal. Only the GFS operational is kind of out in left field with some cooler troughing over BC and over the Northwest in the longer range. But if it does come to fruition, I wouldn't think it'd be crazy hot. Maybe 25 or so in Prince George, and potentially 30 to 35 in like southern BC interior, Okanagan area, and then maybe closer to 35 or down in our neck of the woods. But yeah, I mean, kind of early June, little heat. May kind of drift east, or probably more likely, I think we get a stronger jet that impinges on Western Canada as we get into mid-June, and that'll drive a cooler pattern as we get to mid-month. That's kind of what I'm thinking, and more precip. So
I think that's sounds like a recipe for thunderstorms in the BC interior.
Yeah, I think there's a risk, especially as that ridge breaks down, that we'll see some thunder risk, especially into southern BC, potentially on the spine of the Rockies and some of those, caribou as well. But with the precip we're getting in the 1 to 5, I think honestly it shouldn't be a crazy fire risk, assuming we can get some decent precip. I saw a fair amount into the interior, so I feel good about that. We're not going to see anything crazy over the next couple weeks. So, in terms of fire behavior or fire development.
No, I don't think so either. And a lot of us crews are sitting. I mean, I'm doing the show right now, obviously, right? So season started off pretty hot, for sure. But when I say thunderstorm pattern, I mean we've had past years like 2019. There was a lot of thunderstorms in BC, a lot, and we did not have a lot of firework that year, right? So thunderstorm. It depends if they're high precipitation or low precipitation cells, obviously. So I'm kind of like looking from my mountain out, wondering like when do we get done with these popcorns storms and start getting some strong thunderstorm development in the central.
Yeah, we call it. I mean, down here at least we refer to that as like what you'd call a cold core storm, which is like your pop-up thunderstorms and like a cool air mass trough, and then you have your warm core storms, which typically happen when you inject some instability, like high theta E, which theta E is potential equivalent potential energy or equivalent potential temperature. When you inject that, from the southwest monsoon, for instance, gets entrained into like a ridge and pulls it up into Western Canada, that's when you get what I refer to as warm core storms, which tend to be the more ferocious ones that tend to drop a lot more lightning because their tops are a lot higher, so you got better charge separation. You really need to get like negative 40 Celsius in the anvil to get good charge separation. So
yeah, get that nice cold at the very top, but the real ground heating at the bottom too.
It's just tough to do that in a cold core situation because you really have a pretty small amount of cape, a pretty narrow what we call skinny cape, which if you look at the SKU-T profile, it's like a pretty narrow area of buoyancy between temperature and basically the forecast temperature where you have that instability. So, but yeah, I mean, I think a pretty typical June pattern, especially for BC, as long as we don't see that ridge build enough that we could see some real heat in the BC. The risk is there, but at this point, I think things just get warm, but not crazy warm. So.
Yeah, I like to call them popcorns because they just sort of bubble up and then they're gone.
Yeah.
They're here and there, and they're hard to forecast for because they just kind of, they're everywhere. They kind of come and go, and so there's been a lot of that. It's not been like this place, look out, you're going to get hammered. So I've been having to make a lot of these sort of like very vague predictions on weather watchers. Like, well, there's going to be some popcorns throughout the province.
So I just want to say I'm going to miss my boy Mark when he moves up to Canada, and you guys better be good to him because I don't want him to come crying back, to us.
Well, I'm sure I'll probably meet him in Winnipeg sometime. I'll have coffee with him. I'm definitely not going to scare that guy away.
No, I was really into this, because he's like, before anybody, he's like, I'm thinking about taking a job in Canada. And I'm like, escape while you can. Get out of America.
I tell him just to post on social media that he's leaving for Canada, whether or not Donald Trump gets reelected. So
yeah, I like what he said today. Him and I are chatting. He said someone already asked him like, "What's your thought in the election?" He says, "I don't care. I'll be in Canada."
Yeah, that's wild.
Good to see you, Chris. Thanks for stick around as long as you can. But I know you got.
We're gonna road trip it up there to see up there to Wells sometime. So.
Well, that's the thing. I'm really stoked on it.
Might not be this year though.
On the whole development, it's fantastic. It's great. It's really
all right, guys. Well, I got family in town, so I'm gonna spend some time with them. But it was good chatting and good getting on here.
Yeah, good to see you, man. You're great.
All right, guys.
Chris Calais, meteorologist Chris Calais down there in Portland. Imogen, we haven't talked to you in so long. How is things going? You had a big art farm party that's you've been working on. You got the other show, the quiz show. What's going on down there in Victoria, Imogen?
Just tied up with planning the art farm anniversary party. There's so much going into it, and it is going to be absolutely huge. It's bigger. We might run into problems with having that many people in that area. We're actually expecting a turnout of close to 5,000 people. So, yeah, I know how to party. So,
this is like something out of Wayne's World Part 2.
Oh yes, and it will be most excellent. It's yeah, a lot of surprises for how things are going to play out that day. But other than that, we've had sort of hit and miss usual wet sponge weather here. little bit of rain, a little bit of sun, a little bit of rain. So you go outside wearing your shorts, and then all of a sudden you're like getting soaked because there's like this sporadic downpour. And I had the weirdest experience driving downtown the other day. Nice and sunny, all things good. Then very quickly, I run into a tornado of birds. Someone had decided to throw bagels all over the road, just bags and bags of bagels. And so there were seagulls everywhere fighting over bagels. One had a half bagel, which is wielding like a sword, scaring away any other birds that tried to take its half bagel. There were easily 200 seagulls just flooding this whole little area. And it was a small area, just a mountain of bagels being eaten by birds, these big fat seagulls trying to lift these hefty bagels. And as I was passing through this, you have to drive slow because they're huge and they're everywhere. And so as I'm coming out of this, there was this just out of nowhere downpour, about 5 minutes of just heavy pouring rain, and it was back to sun. I'm not sure if I used a Ouija board wrong at some point to create that, but it was very unexpected, but at the same time, not a surprise, because that's what it's like here. This is a weird place.
Frankie, what would a tornado of seagulls sound like?
A lot of seagulls flying around.
What would it sound like? And stay tuned because we got the Game of Death with Brandon Hout coming up later. Speaking of making sound effects. Okay, we still haven't talked to Hilding, Michael, or Karen. And Karen hasn't been on for so long that we have to talk to Karen first. That's what we're going to do because Karen, up in Prince George, you're one of the moderators of Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers. That's the group we run on Facebook. And you've been having a hard time with your plants.
Yeah, because every single night I have to run out. Thank goodness I live so close to work that I have to come home and haul them in. Because all of a sudden it's sun, it's beautiful, and then we have rain squalls, hail squalls. Everything has to be brought in. I got caught out the other night. Seriously, I had to put a toque on and hoodie, everything. It was so bad. I was getting pelted on. I'm done with it.
If you see those white stuff coming from the cloud, that's hail shaft from severe thunderstorms.
Right? Right, Frankie? It's horrible. It's horrible.
If you see a hail shaft, you got to stay away from windows. Get inside and stay away from the windows immediately.
Well, I kind of don't. I have to go rescue my plants.
Yeah, it wasn't football size hail that Karen's talking about. It's little tiny.
It's little tiny
hails.
But it's enough. It's enough to damage my plants.
Oh, too much of a good thing, right? You've been like, where's the rain? Where's the rain? Where's the rain?
And some thunderstorms have hail shaft up ahead. Means those things come from the clouds. And if you see far away from me, like those thunder clouds with that hail shaft.
Well, I would tell you because like I told Brandon before, where I could clearly see coming down Highway 2 in Alberta, the hail shaft. And I was like, well, I think I'm going to go this way and avoid that. And then when I came back to Nanton a little while later, there was all these vehicles with smashed windows and people just going 120 down Highway 2.
That means
with the curtain, I'm just going to drive into this curtain. Nothing can go wrong.
Hey, what about those 18-wheeler drivers? 18-wheeler drivers had to be pulled over because they got stuff in the back. Those 18-wheeler drivers got containers in the back of the 18-wheelers.
They do.
Down in Utah, in those places, they get 80 mile per hour speed limit on Interstate 15. They don't go by kilometers; they go by miles. There.
They go by miles per hour. What kind of plants do you grow in there?
People can go 90 miles per hour on Interstate 15. People can go 90 miles per hour there.
So you're pretty vague on what kind of plants these are.
I've been trying to grow.
Germany. Did you hear about the fastest highway in the world, the Autobahn? People can drive over 500 on the Autobahn.
I want a car that can do 500. Just saying, that would be incredibly cool to at least drive once. I don't think I'd do 500, but to know I could. That's the key. That's what's important.
I'd settle for a car worth 500.
That's on the Autobahn in Germany, the fastest highway on the planet.
Ooh.
I think the only theoretical car that could go that fast is Lamborghini.
And Bugatti.
Yeah, they probably could. Mike, with football-sized hail. Who had football-sized hail today?
Somewhere in
Midland,
Texas, in Central
Texas.
States.
The NFL.
I sent a photo of it to the chat. They have football-sized hail. Someone was holding football-sized hail in their hand in Midland, Texas. It's huge. I was like shocked to see the hail that size. I've never seen hail larger than maybe a football or like baseball.
Oh, it was crazy looking, and it was shaped like a football too. That was the thing. It's like, is this real?
What happens
Yeah,
if
that's
the
the
hail?
thing with AI nowadays. It's really hard to tell what's real or not. So it's always good to go back and verify those things. But yeah, it was about that size. So there must have been massive updrafts in those storms.
What happens if the hail size of the Earth?
You have to have winds pushing over 200 kilometers an hour, probably going up or better, right?
What about the hail size of the planet Jupiter?
Well, that's
Hailstone the size of Jupiter, Frankie?
Yeah.
It's just a nice planet.
That would wreck Hilding's crops.
It would scare
That could destroy the planet.
I think we'd expect to die if we saw something that big coming towards Earth.
You've been getting soaked. Hey, Hilding, you've been getting your hay fields are looking good. And this is great because I was telling my friends, Daryl and Steph, who I got my dog from, that I was like, it's gonna be a good hay year. It's gonna happen. I've been the one preaching rain for a while.
As we had in July last year when we started mowing hay. We have as much now as when we started. And we've got a whole month yet for it to grow. And it's moist and it's growing. You can watch it grow like some days you can watch it grow an inch. It's amazing.
You see it right before
And we had a
your
good
eyes.
one this week. Our pasture got enough growth in it. We were able to turn the cows out early, and we were sure happy because our water pump failed and we couldn't pump water to the water troughs. So we had to turn the cows out in pasture where they can drink from the creek.
Yeah, and that as long as they're eating lots of green hay too, they're getting a lot of water from that as well, right?
Well, yeah, the nice green grass, they get a lot of water from that.
Yeah, as opposed to eating the dry hay. Eating the dry hay.
Yeah.
What is, going back to Mike for a second, Mike, what is Manitoba's forecast looking like next week? I haven't told anybody this because I'm supposed to tell everybody this at the top of the show, but it's the 30th of May right now. We're recording Thursday, the 30th of May. So if you're hearing us talk about the weather, remember that if you're listening to us on Monday morning in Winnipeg. Mike, what's coming this week for weather in Manitoba?
I'm actually looking at the data right now, and Sunday, for those of you who are probably out at the lake or the cottage, may have had a thunderstorm. Some of the latest data is showing that there could be a squall line or a line of thunderstorms go through Sunday evening in eastern Manitoba. I'll be at the White Shell on the weekend, so I might get hit with that. And then looking next week, I'm seeing highs actually a bit cooler than average in upper teens, lower 20s. I'm not really seeing any of the heat building in that's in Western Canada until later in the week, but I am seeing 70s and 72s for Tuesday, June 4th. On this is a GDPS I'm looking at. I saw spot weather earlier, and I don't think we're going to be getting any like significant heat, but I do see temperatures a bit more seasonable. It has been quite cool the last couple of days with our highs around 15 to about 20 degrees. Yesterday we got to 21 degrees. I'm seeing a flip in the pattern after June the 6th. And then there's also a chance of more unsettled weather. There's some troughing over the central U.S. plains, and that may lead to a few rounds of thunderstorms in the northern plains and southern prairies. But for the most part, looks like a lot of the wet weather that we've had is likely going to stick around for the next 3 to 5 days. Maybe a couple of chances for thunderstorms, but I don't see any, those cold pools of thunderstorms you get with isolated days of rainfall. I don't see that happening. I see it just more like scattered showers and thunderstorms next few days. And today is actually kind of funny. I felt like we were in a mini tornado The winds were blowing about 60 to 70 kilometers an hour. Thought we were going to get a tornado, but we ended up getting a line of thunderstorms move through in the morning. That was a lot of fun. And a couple of close lightning strikes. And then power out apparently was out North Winnipeg. Some tree branches fell over and knocked over some power lines. So yeah, it's been interesting weather week the last few days, and I think as we get into June and July, we'll probably see a lot more of that. I'm just kind of surprised the lack of heat. Last year at this point, we were already seeing highs of 25, 20 to about 30 degrees. So maybe with this upcoming heat wave that's coming later in the week, it might hit us. But yeah, if you're in Winnipeg, don't plan on seeing a risk for frost or anything like that next little while. And I've coordinated with Justin, and he says that he also does see signs of heat building in towards the end of next week and early next week. So that's pretty much all I have.
There we go. Is everybody ready for the guy? Frankie, you ready for the guy?
Yes, I'm ready.
Ready for the guy. Because I sometimes can't hear Frankie's videos mysteriously. I don't know what it is. It's okay, well, stop staring at Frankie's crotch and we'll hit play.
Okay, guys, we're going to do a guy eating raspberry pies. Oh my god. Sounds like elephants are coming. Oh my god, the elephants are after me now. A lot of elephants are after me now. More elephants, they're after me now.
Frankie's getting chased all around for you radio listeners.
The elephants cannot stop chasing me.
They won't stop at all. They won't stop chasing him.
Even more elephants are after me now.
Try going that way again.
Those elephants cannot stop chasing me. The elephants won't stop chasing me now.
Are they going to get away, Frankie?
The elephants are not stopping me chasing. There's a pack of elephants that are after me. The elephants, they won't stop chasing me.
The elephants can't stop chasing him at all.
The elephants finally got away. Thanks for watching, Frank Down. Here's my winter 2024-2045 forecast in North America. Winter all across North America is going to bring much stormier than normal. It's going to bring a whole lot of nor'easters all across Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and Prince Edward Island, and Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York, and New Jersey, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, all the way down to Washington, D.C., all the way down to southeastern United States. It's going to bring one storm right after the other, nor'easters. It's going to bring a lot of snow all across eastern United States and western United States, including Vancouver, British Columbia, Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon. It's going to bring a whole lot of storms, and then Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, British Columbia, because of La Nina, the cold waters off the coast of Ecuador in the Equatorial Pacific is going to cool down. That's going to trigger cold waters in the Pacific. It's going to bring a whole lot of storms all across Western Canada, like Vancouver, Victoria, Seattle, Portland. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow in Wales, England, Ireland, Scotland, those places. Don't let your guard down. Keep your guard up. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow all across France, Germany, Spain, Netherlands, Portugal, Denmark, Bosnia, Romania. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow in Norway, Finland, Sweden. It's going to bring a lot of snow in Japan, Tokyo, Japan, Kyoto, Japan, Osaka, Japan, Sapporo, Japan, Beijing, China, Wuhan, China, and all those regions. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow in winter 2024, 2025, including Siberia, Russia, like Yakutsk, Magadan, Norilsk, Chita, Irkutsk, Krasnoyarsk, and all those places. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow all across Moscow, Norway, Finland, Sweden, including Helsinki, also Norway, and all those places. So Trosmo, Norway is going to bring a whole lot of snow. In Ontario and Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, British Columbia is going to bring a whole lot of storms all across central United States, western United States as well, in the winter 2024-2025. I want every single person to be prepared. Don't let your guard down. Keep your guard up. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow all across the eastern United States in the winter 2024-2025. Make sure you have your shovel, snow scoop, snow blowers, snow plows, salt trucks ready in advance. There could be big snow events in eastern United States in winter 2024-2025, including eastern United States, western United States, including Vancouver, British Columbia, Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon. It's going to bring a lot of snow in Denver, Colorado, and all across North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Minnesota, including Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and all those places. Even Mexico's going to get snow too. Even in South Korea, it's going to get a lot of snow in the winter 2024-2025. It's going to bring a lot of snow in Turkey, Greece, Albania, and Serbia, and all these European countries as well. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow in England, France, Spain, Portugal, Germany, Italy, and Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, Finland, Sweden, and all these countries as well. It's going to bring so much snow in eastern United States, and western United States, and central United States winter 2024-2025. It's going to bring a whole lot of snowstorms, rainstorms, freezing rain, mixed precipitation winter 2024-2025 in eastern United States. Be extra prepared. You will continue in spring 2025. Be safe. Stay safe. Don't get caught in a lot of winter storms. Stay warm. Be safe.
Looks like winter's already started there. Eat it all. Get that in you, Frankie. I can't hear this one either. What's he eating this time?
Oh my God!
Strawberry pie.
Strawberry
oh my
pie.
God! There's a lot of coyotes after me now and foxes.
And now he's getting chased by squirrels.
There's more foxes and coyotes after me now. There's a whole pack of coyotes are after me now.
And he gets a hamburger in.
It's a
What is
strawberry
it?
pie.
Coyotes and foxes after me now.
Gets a strawberry pie in there between while being chased by squirrels.
Coyotes.
They won't stop
Coyotes.
chasing me.
I can't hear Frankie's videos for some reason. It's crazy.
So why are you talking over it, knowing that we can?
Even more coyotes are after me now. There's a whole pack of coyotes and foxes.
So
They won't stop chasing me.
Coyotes and foxes.
The coyotes and
Running for
foxes
his life.
finally got away. Thanks for watching Frank Down.
To our radio listeners, Frankie was just running for his life through a field being chased by coyotes and foxes after devouring a strawberry pie like an absolute pie-eating champion.
we do have time for a lightning round of Game of Death with Brandon Houck. I got a package
Yes.
here. I'm going to open this while Brandon talks about the Game of Death.
The Game of Death. That's right. That's right. We've done this before. This is Hilding's favorite game, by the way. He's like a pro at this game, the Game of Death.
Someone's got to
especially-
explain this game to me because I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh, you don't know? Oh, well, you'll figure it out. We've got this all under control, and I pick a sound, and you get to make them. We'll do it one by one, and whoever has the best sound wins. It's very, very easy. I should just call this Brandon's game of easiness here, but
And whoever has the worst sound has to die.
well, I guess so. And we'll let Joey be the judge here on making a stinger.
What's going on here? The oral history of
So-
punk rock, misfits and miscreants. Chris,
I'm gonna
Walsh.
pick the sound. And this today, wild sound is going to be a fake snore. That's right.
That's the sound Brian Goebel's making in this picture right here.
That's right. He's making fake snoring noises. So, you know those fake snore noises that you make just to make an impression. It's like an impression, just something like that. So, you know what? I think
Just gonna mention, I forgot to say that there was a couple of weather stats that I forgot to mention during my segment. So
Unfortunately, we're playing the Game of Death.
okay,
Yep, we are. And well, we'll let you start first there, Mike, with the first snore. Fake
You
snore.
volunteered.
Let's hear it. Mike.
Come on, Mike. Let's hear that snore.
That's very quiet snoring.
Yeah, we can't hear it, Mike. We know you snore louder than that.
That's what I got.
Well, that gets a buzzer, just so you know. All right,
Frankie,
Frankie.
Show us a snore, Frankie.
Fake snore. Oh.
You know what's going on is this is what's going on is the Zoom is somehow thinking it's music or background music and cutting the noise off. Because Frankie and Mike were both trying to make snore noises, I think, and we couldn't hear them.
Couldn't hear them. Wow.
Who next, Brandon?
Frankie's still trying. All right.
Frankie,
Well, this is going swimmingly well. Well, you know what? I'm going to change it. Because we're
Is there some
today
in play here that does not acknowledge human snoring? That does not acknowledge a soft palate flapping around doing something weird?
So that's your snore noise, eh?
That's my snore noise.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna try.
Okay.
No,
Oh,
no one heard that either, right?
don't heard that either. Let's see. Here we go.
I can do a pig noise that sounds like a snore.
Well, that's
I
isn't
can
that what I
try.
just did? Something like that. You know? That's not. Okay. That's weird. Doesn't want to pick that up. Okay. We'll pick a different sound then. Because today is National Hole in My Bucket Day today, or Hole in the Bucket. So
What happens if no one can make the sound, Brandon? It's like you picked a sound that the program wouldn't allow.
Well, does whistling work? Let's see.
Can you hear that?
Somebody whistle.
Hold on.
Yeah, whistle.
Is anyone hearing that?
Yeah.
Okay, that is a recording of my cat snoring.
That is awesome.
He snores and he talks in his sleep.
Like,
There's a fake snore.
Yep.
That was.
because I have my settings and my audio settings set to not suppress background noise. That's what's going on.
Okay.
Okay.
If you have that suppressed background noise, it's always gonna think that snoring doesn't exist. It's like, of course people are snoring through your show.
Yeah.
We'll just
of
mute
course.
that.
What's really great about Morbo, like when the cat really gets going with his snoring, he gets into this routine where it's this long, prolonged. He is a little tiny cartoon, and he makes the little mew 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 sound. He talks in his sleep while snoring.
Oh, that's awesome.
I talk in my sleep. Trust me, I've heard conversations. My mom, I woken up some mornings. My mom like, you're arguing in your sleep with your brothers. I'm like, seriously? I had an argument. I didn't even realize those things can happen. It happens at the craziest moments too.
Well, that is awesome. Now, Hilding, you got a different mic there. Do you think you can? That would work.
Hilding
yeah.
actually is sleeping right now. That's the funny part.
Yeah, that's right. He is.
The punchline here is that Hilding does occasionally fall asleep during recording.
Hilding's like, no, I don't.
I'm gonna try a fake snore.
Milk the cows.
I'm not 100% perfect, but
there we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
The game of death.
There. That's all right, Frankie. You could try that again. See if we could hear Frankie this time. Oh.
Nah, he still hasn't changed his settings. There you go. You're gonna have to pick a different noise next week, there, Brandon. This was a total flop.
It was a total
That's
flop.
the funny part
what
about it, at least.
farting noises? Would it pick up farting noises?
It's
Well,
like, you know,
Not
see.
appropriate.
the funny part about this segment is just how bad it flopped. That's the comedy of it.
That's the funniest part. Yeah. How bad it flops. Sometimes it works. It's like dinosaur noises were fine weeks ago.
One thing I did notice though during this segment is that my oil's a little rich in my fuel mix there for the saw.
Oh yeah.
Smell it in the house.
Smell it.
Yeah, could it be a bad night for you?
No. No, so I just I bought this 257 off of one of my neighbors this week, and it's a sweet little saw. I'm gonna put a larger bar on it, and unfortunately, it doesn't have the ability. You can't put a full wrap handle on the thing, unfortunately. But I like it better than my falling saw. I think maybe.
Because Joey, I love you, but maybe next time, not inside the house.
This is the best part about being an adult is I can do whatever I want.
And after
I used to always be like, "Take your boots off. Take your boots off when you come in the house." I'm like, "You built the house in the swamp."
That means
No
What
more
happens if
chainsaws in the house.
what happens if the bears roaming around the Prince George Bridge gonna be on the streets? What does that mean? You have to call the animal control, and police will tell people to stay indoors.
If it's wandering around wells, they call me.
What happens if what happens if the bears roaming around the streets in Vancouver? What does that mean?
If I'm not there to run a chainsaw and scare it away, that's the one thing. If you have to chase a bear off, they find chainsaws pretty scary.
What happens if the bears roaming around the streets in Prince George? Then the police will tell people to stay indoors.
There is bears
I have
roaming around the streets of
learned,
Vancouver.
Frankie, from Joey to scare off the bears. I got some on my street. They're gone.
I heard a cool thing today, and I'm not trying to be like, "Yay, Joey," but I was talking to Angie at the district office, and she's like, a lot of people now have come forward and said Joey was right, and I was like, "Wow, you just never hear that." So unfortunately, our local bear did get destroyed.
What happened in Winnipeg too? They had to euthanize one in Wildwood Park a few weeks ago. It was loose in Wildwood Park.
It's not a common problem here in Wells. Generally the bears come down in the spring, they take off in the fall. We've had a few grizzlies in the past that had to be very encouraged to leave. They didn't want to go. They're like, "No, we're going to hang out in this valley." Like, "No, we're going to shoot you with rubber bullets."
That was funny. We had a black bear out by Bazzano.
Yeah, there's another thing you got to watch out for is coyotes.
Oh yeah, we get a lot of those.
They
in
won't hurt
Winnipeg.
you.
Get a lot of those in Winnipeg. Actually, they've said that a few times they had to get the police out because they were going after kids in the neighborhood. They had to lock down the neighborhoods because they're on the loose.
What happens to the bears on the loose in Winnipeg neighborhood? What does that mean?
I don't know. It's not like Winnipeg isn't dangerous enough as it is.
Yeah, you go downtown, you got literally fights breaking out in broad daylight. That's how crazy Winnipeg can be.
You might get stabbed in broad daylight or eaten by a bear. Winnipeg. Whereas Vancouver, a bear just might try to take you home.
I take Vancouver. I would take Vancouver any day over Winnipeg.
That means that if you
Sounds
want
like
to follow,
your kind of bear, does it?
if you want to follow me on social media, my blue sky is at Frankie MacD. My Twitter is at Frankie MacD. My link tree is Frankie MacDonald. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Instagram is Frankie MacD984. My TikTok is Frankie MacD Frankie MacDonald984. My Clapper is Frankie MacDonald984. My Twitch is Frankie MacDonald984. My Snapchat is Frankie MECD1. My YouTube channel stalks will say my link is Frankie MacDonald. Best luck, y'all, Frank Dalton. You're listening to Comedeorological Weather Report every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic.
Now, don't look now, Frankie, but there's a bear behind you.
I don't see any bear.
It's about 8 o'clock.
He's showing Mark Engels what a Caesar looks like.
Pretty much that's the show, eh?
That's the show.
Okay, I think that's the show. So I'm not
That's
sure.
the show.
Not sure if everyone understands, but generally once we say that, and we all agree that's the show, then that's the show.